Spiritual seeking often comes with a rigorous yet intriguing experimentation that leads to the enticing reality of the connection that one has with God. In an endeavor to this spiritual connection, humankind has found several pathways in the past thousands of years of our existence. Whether it's through popular religions followed around the world or even some Far East practices that includes Zen Buddhism, Hinduism, etc. I was exposed largely to Hinduism in my childhood, majorly through music and by chanting Vedas or mantras. After lots of twists and turns, my life brought me to the destination that my spiritual heart was always seeking for. It is this wonderful ashram Shree, Peetha, Nilaya where Swami Paramahamsa Vishwananda teaches his devotees and followers how to just love. This is my experience into the world of Bhakti Marga founded by Swami Vishwananda that is filled with things which I always admired like Vedas, Om chanting, Kirtan and Bhakti sessions, yoga and most importantly the value of life which cannot be understood unless you start loving and caring for one another. So without any further ado, let me take you to this spiritual journey at Just Love Festival in Springen near Frankfurt, Germany where the ashram and the Hindu temple is located.
Are you ready for the Just Love Festival?
So what is Just Love Festival?
In 2015, Bhakti Marga commemorated its 10 years anniversary. We did our first exclusively Kirtan fest. Even Shivaratri, we do 12 hours non-stop Kirtan, but it's always related to some specific event in calendar. For us, it was the first year of Just Love Festival. 2016, we started using the name Just Love Festival. So in the next year, we opened much more. We invited more people from outside, and we really wanted people to get to know our ashram, to get to know Bhakti Marga, to get to know Guruji, and to sing Harinam the whole day, to spread that love that Guruji preaches. Guruji himself didn't baptize the festival. He liked the suggestion. It was a devotee who suggested, what is Just Love? Just Love is Radharani, you know? Just Love is Sharanagati. It's not that simple as it sounds. Sometimes when he's explaining the philosophical questions with these two words, Just Love. So it became a kind of traditional thing in Bhakti Marga in the past year, and it was very natural to call the festival like that.
There was this constant questioning, why am I here? What is my purpose? The usual questions that people ask, but sometimes that question comes with a deep pain, the ignorance that you have. What am I doing? What is my dharma? What is my purpose? I would say when I finally understood my connection and I realized that connection, that ended. Now from that point onwards, I would say the spiritual path actually began, because you have a path, you have a direction, you have a goal, you know where you're going. You don't know the destination because that's beyond the mind. Nonetheless, you know that you are on a road to a destination, that your sadhana is not just a pastime sadhana, just killing time. You are actually progressing, moving towards a higher reality, a higher goal.
I imagine you must be awestruck by the amount of intense information. Me too. But for beginners, what's Bhakti?
Bhakti is a verb, it's actually not an idea, so it's really about how you choose to live your life in devotion. In most simple terms, devotion to everything, because as you understand, when God is permeating everything, and Bhakti is something that is beyond sort of sentimental feelings of love or affection or anything like that. And so when you understand that God is everywhere, then you learn to love that presence, that is Bhakti.
But there's Maya, right? So there's this veil of materialism and of things that are clouding our minds, that are just, creating more desires, making us more miserable, craving for something that is not really like pure innocence and satisfying. And I was there, and I think that all of us sooner or later are there in that place. So as European, as Westerner, and even like in other places, even in the East, there's many people that are atheistic. In a way, I couldn't prove that existence. There was no answers, you know, and I really, really needed a guide to show me, you know, there's more, there's love that doesn't stop, you know, when someone doesn't, you know, love you anymore, or, you know, you don't love yourself anymore because of something, you're limiting yourself. That's what I, for the first time, experienced when I came here to Bhakti Marga, to Shree, Peetha, Nilaya. That's where we are now, Paramahamsa Vishwananda's Ashram in Germany, where an activity takes place where we do Om chanting or Atma Kriya Yoga. We have very nice, beautiful temples all around the world. I've learned to treat others, you know, more as I wanted to be treated, you know, myself, and in a sense of bhakti.
As the great sages have rightly said, there is nothing better than chanting the name of Holy Lord in the form of Nama Sankirtana, and the festival was just full of it. There is more than just Indian classical music.
This is your time. Right Govinda, 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 Govinda. Oh, Govinda, 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 Govinda. Hello. Govinda, 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 Govinda. Shit. Govinda, 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 Govinda. Govinda. Jaya, Jaya. Gopala Jaya, Jaya. Govinda. Jaya, Jaya. Gopala Jaya, Jaya. Simha, Jani Simha, Jaya Jani Simha Dev, Praladesha Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Premga, Jani Simha, Jani Simha, Jaya Jani Simha Dev, Praladesha Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Premga. Agota Shimgam.
Much a musical and a spiritual festival it was also a very good gastronomical festival with various varieties of delicious vegan food which were served. The sweet nectar of this food prepared by the sevakas with pure love really makes you feel that you are in cloud nine.
Greatness of Bhakti is that it brings you beyond that you can do. In Bhakti, we The base of bhakti is humility. One of the forms of bhakti is Vandana Bhakti. You have to bow down. You have to roll on the floor. You have to be humble also in the inside. And by that humility, by that service that you perform from the core of your heart, you bring the Lord down to you. So bhakti is about a relationship to the Lord. The Lord is not a thing. The Lord is not cosmic energy. He is all of that. But mainly He's with whom you have a relationship. He is the closest person to you. As vast as so many people that there is on the earth. So as every person will have a different relationship to that Lord. I'm not saying that the Lord is not energy. He's all of that. But ultimately, He's a cosmic person. And that cosmic person has everything inside of him. And when the devotee loves him, this is bhakti, he personally comes to have a relationship to this devotee. And as more love, as more service is expressed in that, as more bhakti, as more devotion is expressed, more clear it becomes to the devotee. And that relationship can give you the ultimate. Because if you study all the forms of yoga, Patanjali, he brings you in these 8 forms, step by step, until the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, so which is a high state of Samadhi. But this is still not the ultimate. This is the mercy, but not the grace. Who am I to say by my own effort I can attain the grace of God? With my big effort, I can attain a state of self-realization. I can know who I am, I can know who is my relationship to the Lord. But how can I say that I can force the Lord to shower His grace in me by my own effort? I'm useless. We can only attain His grace if He wants to give us His grace. Where bhakti is definitely needed, because you have to make yourself so sweet. So that's the beauty of bhakti. The Lord comes to shower His grace. It's not by my arrogance, by my efforts that I can get something. I can get a very small thing. But the main thing is what He wants to give me. Is His kripa.
During this Jasla festival, to see 2,000 people singing Radhe Radhe with their hands up high in the sky, to see this unison of all these thousands of people who came from different parts of the world, and we understand the same language. It's the language of love.
And then there was the Holi celebration, which was indeed one of the biggest highlights of the festival.
Bhakti Marga is a life goal, and it's the idea that through the medium of Bhakti we're going to realize our eternal relationship with God. And I would say what Bhakti Marga has that perhaps is not so easy to find, and something that people should consider, is the fact that, we study things like the Bhagavad Gita, we hear a lot of ideas and a lot of philosophy, but very rarely we see it being lived. We see it actually happening in front of our eyes, and with somebody like Guruji, it becomes evident to everybody who's around. It becomes very, very tangible, and so it's one of those things that if you're ready to transform the mental concept into a lived reality, then I think Bhakti Marga is the place to come at the moment. Just Love Festival is just a representation of that. It's a celebration of that, and so it's like the easiest way for people to come and get a taste. You know, it's made for people of all sort of backgrounds and all levels of spirituality.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With all your heart.
There's a quote in the Mahabharata, and it says, whatever you can find in this work, you may be able to find outside of this work. But whatever you can't find in this work, you can't find anywhere. And I always say in some ways it's very similar to Bhakti Marga. Bhakti Marga is very traditional. If you come to our temple, you'll see how traditional it is, and the chanting, the Vedam and Kirtan, the puja, everything is very, very traditional. At the same time, we have an extremely progressive side of Bhakti Marga. We are tying together tradition and modernity together. It's a seamless blend. And this is why so many people from so many different walks of life are able to connect with Bhakti Marga. There are people who want tradition. Tradition is here. Just singing the name of God, culture, good food, good company. That's also here. You've seen that in Just Love Festival. There are people who are looking for deep sadhana practices. Atma Kriya Yoga is there. Japa is there. Kirtan is there. Puja is there. All these things are there. And then there are people who are looking for a personality who actually embodies truth, who actually is the personification of truth. And there we have Paramahamsa Vishwananda, who is tying all of this together.
When you sit and do some pranayama or meditation, it's like doing puja internally for him. It's like celebrating his presence, trying to go deeper into his love. It's not about merging into nothingness.
Spirituality in so many ways is now a mental concept, and here it is lived every day. And so this is the main reason I think people should experience Bhakti Marga and experience it, preferably through the Just Love Festival.
Just remove your ego side, remove your mind. Don't think about anything. Just come with open heart and listen with your heart. Take what it is. So some people are attracted with Vedic rituals. Some people are attracted with chanting, as you mentioned, or Atma Kriya Yoga. Bhakti Marga offers so many spiritual activities.
Undeniably, Bhakti Marga is extending a lot of activities which is changing lives of hundreds and thousands of people from across 60 countries, and the devotees are growing quite rapidly. My relationship with Bhakti Marga family and Guruji himself has certainly created a huge positive impact on me and my life in general. So my sincere attempt through this brief video is to show you my experience and to introduce you to Bhakti Marga and Swami Paramahamsa Vishwananda, so that if you don't know about it yet, you can now go for it. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.